Malesela Teffo has been removed from the role of legal practitioners. A curator has been appointed of Teffo. He's no longer allowed to his bank account used when practicing as well. Well, let's discuss more of the story with my colleague, fellow eNCA and reporter Heidi Giokos, who was watching this case for us. Good afternoon, Heidi. Welcome to today. Thank you very much for your time. Just tell us about the kind of complaints that were lodged against Mr. Teffo and what the court found. I mean, from what I've heard so far, not a pretty picture.
Definitely not a pretty picture, and I think it's important to contextualize what exactly happened and how we reached this point where we're seeing Malesela Teffo being struck off the roll as a legal practitioner. The Legal Practice Council received 22 complaints regarding Teffo's conduct. This was linked to misconduct, to fraud, to misappropriation of funds, and also just overall conduct of Teffo in court. This also linked to his comments made about Begicele as well as President Cyril Ramaphosa. So Teffo claims that because he had been dealing with cases that had been linked to police officers, ex-police officers, he says that this is nothing but an attack on him and nothing but an attempt to silence him. However, the LPC had received actual evidence proving that Malesela Teffo had received money, and we're not talking about small money, we're talking about thousands of rands from a number of clients, and he would use his power, this is according to the court, he would use his power as an advocate to say, I need you to pay me this amount of money and then I will render the service as a legal practitioner. But he would never render that service. The court found
him... So he got money for nothing?
Yes, exactly. And this is why they have appointed a curator to almost take over his bank accounts that are used as a legal practitioner. So the court has found him to be dishonest, to be disrespectful, and his conduct not being that of a legal practitioner. When you as a citizen go to a legal practitioner and say, I need urgent help with this matter or this matter, you put your trust in the court that they will help you. And the courts found that Malesela Teffo abused his power, took advantage of his power, and this is not how somebody who is a legal practitioner should behave. I want us to listen to what one of the justices that handed down the judgment had to say about what exactly they found and how the LPC was correct in bringing this forward because Malesela Teffo was unable to prove otherwise in evidence presented. Let's listen in.
The following order is made. 1. The respondent, Advocate Malesela Daniel Teffo, is hereby removed from the role of legal practitioners. 2. The respondent must surrender and deliver his certificate of enrollment as a legal practitioner to the registrar of this honorable court. 3. In the event of the respondent failing to comply with the terms of this order, detailed in paragraph 2, within 2 weeks from the date of this order, the sheriff of the district in which the certificate is be authorized and directed to take possession of the certificate to hand it to the register of the honorable court. The respondent is prohibited from handling or operating on his banking accounts used in receiving monies for the client. 5. Johan van Staden, the director of the Gauteng Provincial Office of the applicant or his successor as such, in his capacity as such, be appointed as a curator bonus to administer and control the banking accounts of the respondent, including accounts relating to insolvent and deceased estate and any estate under curatorship connected to the respondent's practice as a legal practitioner, and including, if applicable, also separate banking accounts opened and kept by the respondent at the Bank of the Republic of South Africa.
On the issue of the bank account, you said there's a curator that's going to take over that bank account. And will the LPC be doing it, or how is it going to work?
Yes, so the director of Gauteng at the LPC he actually has been appointed as the curator. That is Johan van Staden. He has been appointed as the curator, so it's his responsibility to take over those accounts. And perhaps there'll be a process, Bradad, if there are any funds left over, to try and get to those clients that paid the money and never had any services rendered to them. So the curator is in charge of that, but also what's going to be crucial is for the courts and perhaps for the LPC, I think it's the LPC's responsibility to make sure that therefore surrenders all his legal certificates proving that he is a legal practitioner, because that is going to be crucial in making sure that he doesn't perhaps go and say, I am still a legal practitioner, I still have my documents, I'm still qualified. So the LPC will move in on that and make sure that happens in the next couple of days. But let's listen to the curator that's just been appointed on those processes.
Firstly, he is required to hand over his certificate of enrolment. There's a specific period in which he has to present it to the court, failing which the sheriff can be instructed then to take possession thereof. Then there's also a curator bonus appointed. In this instance, I have been appointed as a curator. I am therefore in a position now to take control of the banking accounts that he used for purposes of receiving the money from those clients, and then also in general in relation to his practice. That will then entail that one will start with the process to determine where those client files are, and then to take that into possession and then to liaise with the clients in that there are no instructions and those matters will not receive any further attention.
So what, from your understanding, Court, what recourse does Mr. Teffo have now, or is this it?
He is allowed to appeal, just like any other matter. He's allowed to appeal, and he has 15 days to do so. However, we have heard from the LPC that should Malesela Teffo appeal this specific order, they will go to the court and ask the court to allow for the order to remain in place, enforce the order, despite the fact that there is an appeal. Because
because normally when there's an appeal, whatever the ruling was today is put aside until the appeal is made. But they are saying, notwithstanding that appeal, it must be enforced.
Yes, exactly that. So if Malesela Teffo appeals within 15 days, the LPC will head back to the court and say the order must still be enforced despite the fact that there is a pending appeal. What's also crucial here is that Malesela Teffo might be able to go back to the court in about 4 to 5 years and say, I have been rehabilitated, here is the proof, I'm remorseful, I would like to be enrolled again as a legal practitioner. Okay. But that's going to take a lot of work, and I'm hoping that we might be able to hear from Malesela Teffo.
You say it's going to take a lot of work, Heidi. If you look at the complaints that we're discussing in court today, he's got a long way to go in terms of his conduct, which is mainly what has really landed him here. But we're going to have to wait and see. Yes. So no news yet whether Mr. Teffo is going to appeal. Do you know?
I don't know, but having engaged with him just very briefly, asking him if he will be appealing, he says we should wait for the next couple of days and he'll make announcements on his next plan.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much. Heidi Giokos there, fellow anchor and reporter here at eNCA, just giving us an update of this breaking story today. Malesela Teffo no longer can practice as a legal practitioner because he's been disbarred.